What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to another edition of Coding with Robbie. As always, I'm your host Robbie, and in this video we're going to be building an Ethereum login system. We're going to have an Express backend and a React front end, and let me just show you what we're going to be building. So it doesn't look like much, but here it is right here. We have two routes. We have our home route, which is actually protected. You have to be logged in to see it. And then we have this login page. We have a button with Connect Wallet, and when you click it, MetaMask pops up and tells you to connect your wallet. So I'll hit connect, and now our wallet's connected and we can sign in, but if we refresh the page, it does remember that our wallet's connected, and then we can hit sign in, and it's basically going to create a message with our nonce and everything, send it to the server is going to validate it and log us in. So I hit sign, I'm going to send that to the server, I'm now logged in, and I can refresh and access home now, and everything works good. And we're going to be using a library called Sign In with Ethereum. This is from a company called Spruce, and I really like this library because it's super lightweight and easy to use. So they have a few different libraries. We'll be using the TypeScript one. And yeah, basically how it works is on the front end, there'll be a connect wallet button. You connect your wallet and then you click sign in, and it's going to request a secret token from our Express backend, and then it's going to send a transaction through the wallet or MetaMask or whatever to the backend where it'll validate that it matches and everything. And it's supposed to be super secure and good to go. So if you want to read about their security stuff, you can read about that right here. So we'll be using this library, and then we also need a library called Ethers. And this is a library that just lets you, I guess, interact with the Ethereum blockchain. And yeah, I got some starter files for you guys. So these will be available in the description. But here's what we got. So we just have a basic Express app. We're loading environment variables from this file right here. And the only one is the port. We're importing Express, and we're creating a router. And then we create our Express app right here. We're using JSON parsing. We're serving static assets in this public folder right here. And then, yeah, we're connecting that router we created, which is available right here. And in here, we just have one route. It's the index path, and all it does is render this HTML page right here. So in this HTML page, we just have a div that says loading with the ID app, and then we're loading our scripts file right here. So that scripts file is the React front end. So all the React stuff is in this front end folder. Here's the index right here. And it's just a basic app setup. So we have React Router DOM with two routes. We got a home route and a login route. Those are available right here, just empty or just divs that say home and login. And then down here, we're rendering the app within that loading div we got right here. And yeah, I created an empty store where all our global state will go. This is using Zustand. And that's pretty much it. So this is all pretty boilerplate standard libraries that people use. Feel free to swap in for other stuff if you want, but I think you'll like these starter files. And yeah, we're going to get into it right now. Let's go. All right, so let's get right into it. So one thing I forgot to mention is that in the starter project, we have two scripts. We have the dev script. This just watches the source/index.js file for changes, and it's going to rebuild it whenever there's a change. And then we have dev.js, and this watches the front end folder for changes, and whenever there's a change, it's going to rebuild our React app. So when we're working on this, we have to run both of those scripts. So let's pull up terminal. You should be CD'd into your project folder, and then you can run npm run dev. And then we're going to open up a new tab and run npm run dev.js. And now we got both of those running, so we can just close that up for now. And let's get started. So the first thing we're going to have to do is just set up the Ethers provider signer stuff. So let's create a new folder within the front end folder. And we'll just call it initializers. And then within that folder, let's create a file called ethers.tsx. And then let's go to the documentation. And here we are right here. If we go to implement the front end, they have some example code. But we really just want to copy their provider signer code right here. So let's grab this. And we'll paste it in here. And we want to export both of these. So add export. And then we got to import ethers at the top. So let's copy that from right here. And then we're in TypeScript. It's going to yell about window.ethereum not existing. Let's just ignore that. So let's add a comment at ts ignore. And it's going to ignore that error and it'll go away. So there we go. We got Ether set up. So now let's go to our login page and let's just add a button in here. So let's go button and it'll say connect wallet. And we're going to connect this button to a function. So I'll be doing all my state within this auth store right here. This is just a Zustand store. It's a library for creating global state. It's my favorite. I think it's the most simple and the best. But feel free to use what are the popular ones? Redux, React Query, whatever you want. I'm using Zustand. So our store is going to have a connect wallet function. So let's define that, and it's not going to return anything. And then we got to create it within the actual store object right here. So let's go connect wallet, and it's going to be a function. And then let's check out what that function is going to do. So let's go back to their docs, and it does provider.send and request the accounts. So let's copy this code right here, put it within our connect wallet function. And we got to get that provider, and we exported it from our ethers file. So let's see if we type it, if it'll suggest the import. It does. So I got it imported, and that's all good to go. And now we want to connect this function to our login button. Let's go to the login page and let's grab that store. Let's go const s is equal to, and we want the auth store. Just like that. And now we can go on click. And on click, we want to run store.connect wallet. That's going to run that function. Let's try it out right now. Let's go to localhost 3000, and we're on the home page. And we got to get the login, but if I go to login, I'm going to get a 404. So let's fix that. Let's go within our router file. And we also want to render this for /login. So let's just create an array. Let's go const frontend routes is equal to, and it's going to be the root path and also login. And then let's loop through those. Let's go front end routes for each. And then for each route, we want to create an express route like this. Move that in here and replace this with a route. So now for each one of these, it's going to create a route for it. So now if we go back, should be able to go to login and get the login page. There we go. We click connect wallet, and it's going to pull up MetaMask. It's just initializing or getting set up right now. I got to put in my password. And I just connected my wallet, and if we go inside here, we're probably not going to see any output. Zoom in a bit. So it is running the function, but we're not logging anything or doing anything with it. So let's go back within our store. And right here, we're going to be getting the accounts. So let's go const accounts is equal to, and then what is this? I believe it's a promise. So let's go async. And we'll add a wait before it. And then let's just console.log that after we request it. So console.log accounts. Let's see what that does. So let's go back to our app. I will refresh, I'll hit connect, and we get the accounts right there. So now we probably want to store the account they're logged in with in state. So let's go back to our store and let's add a new property called address. And it's going to be of type string. And then let's create it in the store. We'll go address. And by default, it'll just be an empty string. And then once we do request those accounts, let's go if accounts 0, so the first account in there, then we want to set it on state. Let's go set. And we want address to be equal to accounts 0. So there we go. So we're connecting their wallet, and then we're storing the address in state. Let's go back to our login page. And let's do a little check so we can tell if they're connected or not with their wallet. So let's go if, or let's go s.address is equal to empty string. And then if that's the case, we'll render this. And if it's not the case, we'll render that. So if it is equal to this, it means they're not connected. So we want to show the connect wallet button. So let's paste that in here. And then if they are connected, we want to show a sign in button. So let's paste another button in there. And we're going to implement this in a little bit, but let's just put sign up for now, or sign in for now. Save that. Let's go back and refresh. Let me zoom in a little bit for you guys. I hit connect, and we got that address saved in state, and now it says sign in. So we're on to the next portion now. All right, so before we can hook up this sign in button, we have to do more work on the back end. So let's go back to the documentation. And if you skip ahead to implement sessions, you can kind of get a more grand picture of what's going on. So we have to set up sessions. So here's how they do that right there. And then, yeah, we have two routes. So this is the first one, and this generates a nonce, I think you say it, which is basically just a unique key. And then it sends it to the client. And then with that unique key, the client's going to create a message and include that key and send it to this verify route. And then this route's going to verify that that message is legit and that the address belongs to them and everything. And this is basically going to log them in. So let's get started with this stuff. Let's go back to our app. And we're going to be in the Express side of things now. So let's go to controllers. We'll create a new controller called authcontroller.js. And then in here, we're going to need a couple functions. We're going to need the nonce function. It's going to get rec and res. And then we're going to need the verify function. Also rec and res. And then let's export both of these at the bottom. Let's go module.export. Whoa. Module.exports. And then we're going to export an object which contains both of those functions. So nonce and verify. Here we go. Let's make these async functions. And then let's copy the code. So let's go back here. And here's the nonce one. So let's copy these 3 lines. Paste those in. And it's using generate nonce, which comes from the sign in with Ethereum library. Let's grab that from here. And then let's just convert it to kind of the old school way. So const, we want both of those off of require sign in with Ethereum. There we go. Let's get the verify function. Copy all of this stuff. And then we'll take a look at what it does. Let's paste it in. And yeah, basically it's going to make sure that request body contains a signed message thing. And then it's going to turn it into one of those sign in with Ethereum object message whatchamacallits. It's going to validate that it's all legit. If it doesn't match, if the secret nonce thing we sent doesn't match the one that's attached to their session, it's going to send a 422 and say invalid. And then if it gets past that, it's going to save stuff onto the session. So we're going to have the cookie and sign in with Ethereum fields, which I'm not sure what that is. And then, yeah, it's going to save it and send the 200 back. And then if something fails up here, it's going to go down to this catch block. And it's going to clear the stuff from the session. And then it's going to send one of these error messages. So we have to import this error types stuff they're using. And that also comes from this library. Error types. So that looks good. Let's connect this to our router now. So let's go to routes. And let's just go front end. And then we'll have auth up here. Let's go router.get /nonce. And it's going to be connected to that auth controller function. So let's import the auth controller. So const auth controller is equal to require. We got to get that local file, which is ./controllers/auth controller. And now we can go auth controller.nonce. And the second one is the verify route. So let's go router.post this time. And let's actually make this API/nonce and API/verify. And then right here, it'll be the verify function. And then we're almost all connected, but we have to implement the session stuff. So I already installed the library for you. It's included in your package.json. We just have to add this stuff right here. So let's copy it. and we'll go to index, and let's just put it right up here. Looks good. Just make sure it's above the router. So you can change the session name and the secret key. I'm just going to leave it how it comes, but yeah, if you're deploying this, you definitely got to use environment variables and change that. But yeah, there we go. That should be the back end stuff. So let's see if we broke stuff. We did. Session is not defined. Let's import session. Let's go const session is equal to require, and it's express session. Let's see if it's still broken. It looks like it's good, and now we can start setting up our front end stuff. Let's go back to the front end folder. I'm going to close all this stuff. Let's go to our store, and let's add a new function called sign in. And it's not going to return anything, so I'll put void. And let's go down here and go sign in. And it's going to be an async function. And then let's take a look at how we sign in. So let's go back to their docs, just scroll down to the front end stuff. And here's the sign in function right here. So the first thing we got to do is create a message. So if we go to the function right up here, here's how they're doing it. So first up, you retrieve the nonce from the server, and then you create a message with it, and then you do .prepare message, and then you go down here and do the rest. So let's start with this first part. Let's get our nonce. Let's go const res is equal to await axios.get, and ours is /API/nonce, and we have to import axios. So let's do that. And then let's just console.log res.data, which should be the code, and let's connect this function to our sign in button. Let's go pages login, and then right here, let's go on click. We want to run s.signin. All right, so let's go back to our website. Go back here. I'll refresh, connect, and let me pull up console. Sign in, and we get that secret key that came from the server. It'll be different each time. So yeah, what do we got to do next? We got to create a message. So let's go back to the code, and let's copy all this stuff, and we'll add some comments. So let's go back to the sign-in function. So the first part is get nonce. Next part is create message. We'll paste that in, and then for domain, let's see what domain is. Domain is just window.location.host. And then address is what? Address getting passed into this function. And if we go down here, the address is signer.getAddress. So let's copy this line, and we'll put it right here. And we got to get our signer, which we exported in our ethers file earlier. What is statement? Let's see what statement is. It's just a string right here, so let's copy that. And URI is window.location.origin. I think. Yep, window.location.origin. And then, yeah, we can leave that stuff. And our nonce we have above as res.data. So let's get that. Place it right here. There we go. And then we've got to prepare the message. So let's just call this message raw, and then call this one down here message. Okay, so we create our message. Oh, we gotta make this message raw. There we go. And then what's next? So we got this part right here. Next we gotta get our signature. Let's go down here. Get a signature. And this is gonna be signer.signMessage, and we pass it the message. And then we send it to our server. So let's do that. Once we get the signature, we send to server. So let's go Axios. It's going to be post this time. and ours was /API/verify, and then we have to pass it some data. And the data we pass it is message and signature. The message and signature. And let's see. I think we're good. So let's assign this to res2. And then let's just console.log it to see what happens. And we can try this out. All right, let's go back to our website. Well, first let's check. I don't see any errors, so I think we're good. Go back here. Now we connect our wallet and then we sign in. And we get SIWE message is not defined, so we forgot to import it. So let's go back here and see what the import is. Get it from that library that we have installed. Paste that in. Go back and try it again. I'll refresh. Connect wallet. Sign in. And now we get the MetaMask pop-up. And check it out. So here's what we're going to be sending. Got the URL we're on. And then here's that secret key. And we're going to hit sign. It sends to the back end, and it's a promise. I didn't wait for it. Let's, well, there should be a number. Let's await for this to finish first, and then we'll try it again. Go back, go connect wallet, sign in. Gonna pop up with the little MetaMask window. We hit sign, it sends it to our server. We get a 200 back, which means we're officially authorized and good to go. All right, so for the last part, we're gonna make it so when we load our app, it's gonna automatically check if we're logged in. And then we're gonna set up a way to protect some of our routes so that you have to be logged in order to see them and do stuff on them. So to do that, we're gonna add a new route. So let's go to our auth controller. We'll create a new function. And this one's gonna be called validate. It's gonna get rec and res. And then let's export this and connect it to our router. Go routes, and we'll go router.get /API/validate. And yeah, it's going to check that they're logged in and give it 200 if they are, and a 401 if they're not. So let's go authcontroller.validate, and let's see how we can do that. So let's go back to their docs, and it's right down here. They show an example of a protected route. So it checks that that session key exists, and if it doesn't, it sends a 401. If it does, it continues on. Let's copy this stuff, and we're gonna do this in middleware. So let's go to our middleware folder, and we'll create one called requireauth.js. Now let's go module.exports is equal to, and it's gonna be a function which receives rec, res, and next. Open that up. Let's paste in that code. So if they don't have that, we'll send a 401, and if they do, we'll continue on. And it looks like here's how you can get the address. Copy this part, delete all this. So now let's connect this middleware to that route. Oh, sorry. If it does exist, we gotta call next to continue on. And then let's go back to our auth controller. And then if we do make it over here, let's go and go res.json, and we'll just send the address, which is just like that. Now let's connect that middleware. So let's go to routes. Got to import it up here. So const require auth is equal to require, and we got to get this file right here. So ./middleware/require auth, and then yeah, they call it middleware because we just throw it in the middle right here. Require auth. Save that, and now we got to call this when our app loads. So to do it once on load, we can do that within our main index file, and we can use a use effect. So let's go use effect, and we want to run a function. And then for dependencies, we just do an empty array, so it just runs once. We got to import use effect. I don't know if I did that already. And then we're going to call an init function, which we haven't created yet. So let's go to our store, and let's create a new function called init. Not going to return anything, so I'll put void. Let's move it up here. We'll go init. And then it's going to be an async function. And this function is going to hit that API route we just added. So app.get /API/validate. And we want to await on that promise and then assign the results to res. And then let's just console.log it to see what happens. Console.log res, add the trailing comma. And let's go back here and we'll call it within our use effect. So it's coming from that store, so we have to get the store up here. So const s is equal to auth store, we'll import it. And now we can go s.init. There we go, so it's gonna run this when it loads. So let's try it out. Go back here, I refresh, and we get 401 unauthorized. Let's log in. Sign it. I'm now logged in and I refresh and I get 200 that time saying I'm logged in. And now we gotta do some more stuff. So let's go to our auth store. And when we do that, we have res.data.address. So we'll assign that right up here. So let's go set. And we want to set our address to res.data.address. Here we go. And now we got to protect our routes. So let's protect our home route, which is right here. Let's make it so we can only see this when we're logged in. So to do that, we can create a new component. Just create a folder called components. And in here, we'll have, I guess we'll just call it require auth dot tsx. And it will be a functional component. And we gotta do some props. So let's go interface iprops. And this is gonna receive children, which will be react.reactNode. And so it's gonna receive that. So let's go, you know what, let's call this element. So it's kind of similar to React Router DOM. We're gonna get element right here. And we'll go, it's coming from iprops, or that's the types, iprops. And then what do we wanna do in here? So if they're not logged in, we're gonna redirect to the login page. So how can we check if they're logged in? Let's add a new thing to our store called logged in. And by default, it'll be false. And let's declare it up here. So logged in, it's gonna be of type Boolean. And then, yeah, we get here. Let's wrap this in try. So if we get down here, we know they're logged in. So we can set logged in to true. And if they're not logged in, it will be left as false. So let's go catch error. There we go. And then, let's see, we also have to do that down here. So when they do sign in, well, let's just wrap this and try. I'm gonna try all this stuff. Catch error. Get rid of this log. So if they are logged in, we'll set it right here. So let's go set logged in is equal to true. There we go. Now we can go back to this require auth component and let's get it from the store. Let's go const s is equal to auth store. And we'll go if no s.logged in, then we want to redirect them to login. So let's go navigate, which comes from React Router DOM. I have to add return. If they're not logged in, we want to navigate them to /login. So to /login. See what that does. So let's connect it to our main file. Let's go right here. And let's go, hey, this path is going to be render require auth, which is going to get the element, which is the actual component. Okay. This is going to render require auth, and require auth is going to go, hey, you're not logged in. It's going to redirect to login. And if we do get past that, it's going to render the element. So let's go element. So we're getting closer. It's not quite there yet, but let's see what happens. So I go to home and it says, hey, you're not logged in, please sign in. So I do it. Signed in, and now if I go back to home, it still takes me to sign in, and that's because it's not waiting for our init function to finish. So to fix that, add another property to our store called ready. It'll be a Boolean. And then let's add it here. So ready is false. And then this function's also going to set ready. It'll be ready true. And then even if there's an error, we have to set it to true. So there we go. Let's see what that does. Oh no, wait up. Let's go back to our require auth. No, let's go to index. Let's go, see. We don't want to render this until it's ready. So let's go if not ready, s.ready. If it's not ready, we're gonna just render loading. All right, let's see if that works. Let's go back, refresh. It waits a second, and now it's ready. I'm not signed in. Connect and sign in. Sign it and sign in. Now I'm signed in. If I go back to home, let's see if it works. And now I can see home. So it is working. So there's a couple more things we can do. There might be a situation where they're not logged in, but their wallet is connected, and we'd still be showing the connect wallet button. So let's try to fix that. So to do that, we can go back to our store, and in this init function, say they're not authorized, we go here, let's check for that wallet connection. We can go await provider.list accounts. It's going to be an array of accounts. And then let's go if accounts 0 exists, then we got to set that. Otherwise, let's just do ready true only. So up here, let's go, what do we call it? Ours is address, account 0. And I think that should be good. Let's try it now. Yeah, it goes right to sign in now because I'm already connected with my wallet. So that's one less step for people. And let's see. I guess the last thing would be once they do sign in, we should probably redirect them back to the home page. So how can we do that? Let's see. Let's go to login. And let's go if s.loggedin. And we'll redirect. So let's go return navigate, which comes from React Router DOM. We want to navigate to the home page, just like that. Let's try that out. So I'm in login, I'm not logged in, I hit sign in. I sign the message and sign in, and it takes me back home. And now if I go to login again, it'll just take me home right away. Alright, so there we go. There's our login system. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment, let me know you're there. I'll keep coming at you with more videos, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Hey, thanks for watching, everybody. If you enjoyed this video, you can click the icon in the middle of the screen to subscribe, and there's a couple videos on the right for you to check out. Till next time, bye.